Ken Shuman in the booth, and ably assisted by the A-team, Andy, Tim, and Justin here. Tournament direction by Rick Jones, Bonnie Jones, Bill Stock, Brett Baker, Kenny Jones, and they are the best in the business. And we're so happy to have all of you with us once again. I know I continue to repeat that, and you're probably tired of hearing me say it, but I'm going to continue to say it because it's from the heart and it's from all of us. And we really, really do appreciate the support that everybody has given TAR for so many years. And we're going to continue to give you the best that we can offer here. So this is still a race to 5. Same length race on both sides. All bar box events are true double elimination all the way through the finals. And 8-ball is being played under CSI rules, which is call ball and pocket. It's rack your own, alternate break format. The only requirement on the rack is 8 in the middle and a solid in one corner and a stripe in the other. Legal break is make a ball or 4 to the cushions. If that's not accomplished, the game can't begin until the legal break is made. So should there be an illegal break, which will be pretty rare here, what would happen is the incoming player would have the choice to break or make the break or break again. And Sal busted those open really nice, but he did not make a ball. And the table is wide open. We'll have a quick observation here and see which group looks more appealing to Jeff. Obviously, the solids are a little more appealing only because of the 15 ball on the left-hand rail next to the 7. He does have opening shots on either group. And if he takes the solids, he'll have the 8 in either of the 2 bottom corners. So he's planning his play right now. He's going to start with the 2 ball. Don't have to call obvious shots like this, but you do have to call banks, combinations, or anything else that's other than obvious. You don't even have to call the 8 ball as long as it's an obvious shot. And all fouls are ball in hand here, even a foul on the break. No more behind the line. It's ball in hand anywhere if you were to scratch on the break. You can't win on the break, you can't lose on the break. So if you make the 8 on the break and don't scratch or foul, you have the choice to spot it and keep shooting or break over. Wasn't exactly where Jeff wanted to be, that's for darn sure. Now he's got problems. He did not stroke that well. He cannot see the 3. He can't make the 7-3. The 6 that goes nowhere. He's going to slice the 4 ball. That's the only shot that he's got. Going to have to watch the cue ball scratching down where he is as well. If he puts a little inside on it, it'll run into the 12. That's probably the way he's going to play it. The only protection Jeff had, and he knew it, is the, again, the 14 ball there on the left side rail. And that has no pocket. And I'm not sure Sal has an easy way to get it out of there right now. And that's because the 9 and the 11, which are behind the 8, neither of those go. About the only thing I could see him doing is getting on the 13 down there and being able to run the cue ball into the 14. Now he could play the 11 or the 13 off the cushion off the 3, and I think that's what he's going to do next. Came a little far. May have to play the 9 in the side first and then do that. But he'll need to get pretty good down there on one of those stripes in the kitchen in order to open up the stripe on the side rail. Matter of fact, he's really not in a good spot to do either of that. So he might just have to play the 15 right now. And he whacked it, and the pocket didn't take it. And he helped Jeff out a lot, really, by making that 3 ball. Because now Jeff doesn't have to worry about a combination or going from the 3 to the 7. The 6 will get Jeff to the 7. There's room to get the cue ball in there. So this looks to me like you just bounce one rail at the 6, 6 in the side, and then shoot the 7, and you've got the 8 in both corners. Sal will pay for his mistake with the first rack. 1-0 for Jeff. It's over here, Jeff. I don't know what year it was. I'm going to think it was probably in the mid-2000s that Jeff did win the either the 8 or the 9 ball division at the Sands. I just don't recall which division it was, but he did win one of the divisions over there. But that's when it was only 8 and 9 ball. Of course, I can't imagine anybody doesn't know that Sal is the son of Machine Gun Lou Butera, Hall of Famer. Jeff breaking into the second ball. And when you do that, you get movement on the 8. When you hit him head on, you usually don't. And I just think it's a break that Jeff's comfortable with. He's been a bar box specialist for a long time. I mean, he plays fine on all size tables, but he's got a lot of experience on a bar table. The stripes are the group to take because the 7 ball, you can see to the right of the triangle, is kind of tied up there. And he does have access to the 15. He can even wind up playing the 11 and moving the 7 to get even a better look at it. He just wants to be careful here that he doesn't tie the 8 up. If he even hits it, he may be able to miss it altogether. That's nicely done, except now the 8 is limited to the lower left corner pocket. And there are no stripes down at that end of the table to conveniently get there. So he's going to need a little cue ball travel should he get all the way to the ball before the 8. Got to be careful here, running into a ball. I think that's okay, because now it looks like he can send the cue ball right at that 7 ball. And he might hit it, you know, with enough speed. He just wants that 7 to just get the heck out of the way. So there'll be a nice area there for the cue ball to remain. But he's still now going to have problems with the 8, because the 6 has covered the lower left corner pocket now. The 8 goes, I don't think it goes anywhere on the left-hand side of the table. If it passes the 4, it doesn't pass by much. Well, he's kind of flat on this. And now he's going to go look at the 8 by the 4, which he probably should have done 2 or 3 shots ago. Because if it doesn't go, he doesn't have much of a pocket for it. You can see it'll go up here where he's about to play this ball, but how do you get near the 4 ball to do that? He's going to have to power follow this with a little bit of right-hand English. And that's going to make the shot play that much more difficult. Yeah, had a feeling he might have caught that point. And now he's in a world of hurt. The only place he can play this ball is probably cross corner to the upper right. And that's got the whole game is being going to put on that shot. If he misses it, he's going to lose. That's what he's looking at. Yep. I think he really made the mistake by not looking at that 8 past the 4 earlier in his run. And of course, when he ran into the 6, that covered the lower left pocket. That's a pretty good hit there, but it's not going to go. Now, I wouldn't be surprised if Sal played safe here, only because the only real shot he's got here is to slice the 4 in. It's not that it's a difficult shot, but for some reason, should it not go, he'll lose. But he's going to shoot. And boy, he two-railed that in, didn't he? And now he's got another tough shot. Again, if it was me here, I might try to play safe. He could thin the 7 and come up behind the 3. I don't think he could. He might be able to skim the 5 and come 2 rails behind the 3, but I don't think I'd try to shoot a ball in my pocket here. And all this is a result of the fact that he hit the 4 badly. I mean, he hit it fat, and it still went, but that's why the cue ball's close to the cushion instead of out another 6-8 inches where it would have been had he hit the 4 cleanly. Just looking at the combination. What's going to happen here? All right. Now he wants to hold the angle on the 3 and the side so he can go down below the 1 and the 7 and play him in the side. And he's done that. I think the 7 would be next, but either way. And once again, an example of just getting the slightest bit out of line, as Jeff did, wound up costing him the rack. So they've each won on the other guy's break. And it's 1-1. Sal, stripe in one corner, please. Well, that was well hit. Nice solid hit. Made the second row in the side. And let's have a look here at what looks good and what doesn't. Kind of like the stripes myself. And he's got a nice opening shot on the one in the side. Not the one ball, the one stripe. As long as that stripe by the one ball passes, that will be the group to take. That 13 will go at least off the cushion, off the 3. So I don't think that's going to give him a whole lot of problems. But I want to get that one out of here that's down there on the end rail. Yep. That way you just never have to go back down there. You can play the rest of the rack on a half a table. Keeps your cue ball from moving around. Keeps you close to your object balls. Now, I may be, you know, a little bit deceived by the 13-3 as far as it going, but I think it's still going to make it. I don't think he wants to shoot it combination-wise, though. And the cue ball's headed kind of right at the 12. Yeah, 13-12 from here. It looks like it goes pretty clean. And that's a perfect pattern that he played here. He took the balls off exactly the right way. As you can see, well, a little short there, Sal, but the point I was making is his cue ball never ran into a solid. And that's the best way to play. And a very nice cleanup there. And he leads in the match 2-1. Next opportunity I get between matches, I will check with the tournament direction staff and see if I can get you the payouts for the 8-ball division if they've been calculated yet. I mean, they knew the total prize fund and the added yesterday, but those guys are so busy up there. It's really a monumental task to keep all of this stuff going on 40 tables, 3 divisions with the 1 pocket. But if it's available, I'll get it for you between this match and the next one if I can. So here we go. Jeff Heath to break. He's going to hit the 4-ball with the cue ball. Side break. Again, a lot of movement on the 8. Made a ball. And you really want to have to take the solids here, because if you don't, you can't make the 8-ball. And that's going to be his only issue there, will be the 6, which is next to the 8. And he has 2 things to deal with, making the 6, and there might be enough room between the 2 to make it. And then where's the 8 going to go? Should be 1-4-2-6 from here. Well, he didn't want to be on the cushion, but he's got an angle so he can come back across the table for the 2. And that's pretty well done there. Going to play this in the corner with a little bit of soft follow. Didn't even have to follow it. That's good enough there. Now he does not want to hit the 8-ball, I don't think. If he can go over and back without touching it. Oh, he dogged it bad. You see how quickly he shot that? He shot that faster than any other shot of the rack. He kind of, you know, as we call it, a 1-stroked it. And he is supposed to lose this rack because of that. The only lucky thing that happened to him there is Sal's only real easy opening is here in the 9-ball. And he'll have to get pretty good down there to avoid having to play a combination on the 3 balls in the kitchen. can play the combo or he can play safe behind the 11. And the 12 needs to bounce. Okay, he can play it in the corner now after this shot. He's close enough to the stripe there to probably cheat the pocket. I don't think I'd go forward 2 rails to get where his finger is right now. If I could, I would like to kind of stun it into the short rail and straight out. A little more angle on the 12 isn't going to be that bad. But that's okay. If he's got that kind of control, that's just dead perfect. Uh-oh. Almost looked like that was going wide. But I hate to say it, but Jeff really made a mess of that 6 ball. Played the rack perfectly. Got on the 6 perfectly. I think he gave too much attention to making sure the cue ball went over and back for the 8. And he hit the 6 right into the rail. So Sal steals one from Jeff on Jeff's break. Sal leads 3-1 now and is breaking. I always find it interesting watching guys play 8-ball that probably 80 to 90% of players will put the 1 ball on the apex. It's certainly not required, but I think we all grew up playing and learning that way. And I also think because all the rotation games are played with the 1 in front, you get used to that as your target ball. And if you have something else up there, it almost looks odd to you. The players that seem to not really pay much attention to it, from my observation, are the Filipinos. But I do find that most American players do rack the 1 in front when they play 8-ball. It takes just a little more patience to rack 8-ball with a magic rack, because the balls in the middle are right on the felt. They're not on the rack at all, and you have to wait for the perimeter balls to lock them in. So that's why you see sometimes the guys will actually rack them up and push them, take them out, and then do it again. So game number 5 coming up here, 3-1. Struck those really well. Made a couple of balls. Certainly has the solids as an easy starting group. And I don't really see anything wrong with the solids here. Every ball has a pocket. The only one that might be testy is the 6, and he's looking at right now. And if it goes, he will most likely start with the 5. If it doesn't go, all the stripes have pockets, and he could shoot the 14 ball, but I think he's going to go ahead, if he's convinced the 6 passes, and just take the 5 and come around those 3 or 4 balls there. Six does look snug though, doesn't it? The only reason he does not really want to shoot the 14 that's down there in the kitchen is the cue ball's going to run into the 4, and it's not so much of an issue getting another shot, but he just has to control two things, where the 4 goes and the cue ball. He could start with the 11 too, I guess. But then the 10 doesn't pass the 4. He'd have to probably then play the stripe in the kitchen to get to the 10. And he's only got half the cue ball here as well. But I certainly can't fault him for this choice, especially if he feels the 6 is a little snug. Oops. Boy, he hit that right into the middle diamond. And you know what? I think that was a function of the fact that the 5 ball obstructed where his shaft was going on the cue ball. Even though he didn't have to jack up, it still impeded his ability to come clean, smooth through the ball. And when you do that, you kind of almost unconsciously, your tip goes out a little bit to the more safe side of the white ball. And in that case, that's what caused him to overcut the 11. So Jeff with the same situation, an open table, and if the 6 didn't go for Sal, it ain't going for Jeff. And he also will have to deal with the 10. I'm surprised he did that. I'm really surprised he did that. It just didn't look like it was laying good to bump that into a makeable position and control the cue ball. Now he's in a world of hurt because the only ball he can hit is the 6. And he doesn't have hardly anywhere to hide. And he doesn't have a pocket for the 6 unless he wants to get really crazy and shoot it up by the 5, off the cushion, off the 5, into the pocket. And I'm not even sure that's possible. Probably the best thing he could do here if he's playing safe would be to kick at the 7 like he's looking and go down table there. Yeah, he's actually called the 7, I think. Yeah, he was playing all cue ball there. Sal has a wide open look at the 11, so the safety didn't really accomplish anything except the fact that the 14, I guess it's the 15 next to the 6. But Sal's got 2 stripes up there to help open that up, and even if he had to get behind it, it goes up in the pocket by where he's standing once he clears the 12. I think it was not good judgment on Jeff's part to shoot the, not so much to shoot the solids, but to shoot the 3 the way he did. If it was going to go into the 6, I think he should have done so firmly to make sure they got separation between the 6 and the stripe. Sal's not able to get to the far stripe. Well, maybe he can, but he may have to try to hit the 10 here if it doesn't pass. Well, that's good. He went into the 1. Now the 10 goes in the side. Watch out here. Watch out here. Got to play safe on the 9. Yep. and he did not hide Jeff from anything. I think Sal maybe could have played the 10 differently when he played it in the side and came around there. Maybe just played it softly and took the longer shot on the 12. I mean, it's a bar table. How far can you be? So easy for things to go wrong. Because you just don't have the real estate that you're used to. Again, the same thing for Sal. He's lucky that the 14 is still there. And the 15, I think, excuse me, next to the 6. So Jeff's going to have to deal with that. And there's not probably the only ball that he can open that up with is off the 1 in the side. Jeff's got to be careful here, because if he starts taking these next 3 solids off, if he doesn't get on the 6, he's going to have trouble winning the game. I think he's going to play safe right here, and I think that's an extremely smart thing to do. If I were Sal, I would kick at either the 12 or the 9. I wouldn't jump anything here and risk opening up the 15-6. Of course, if you kick into the rail into the 12, you've got to be careful you don't scratch where he's standing. He's going to kick the 12, and he's called it in the lower left corner. I think this is probably more cue ball than try to make the ball. But you've got to guard against the scratch. Well, that'll buy him another inning, I think. Jeff could play safe behind the 1 again. And I think I would. It doesn't look like that's what he's doing now. What was he doing? Maybe he was trying to draw it behind the 1, but he hit it pretty poorly if that's what he was attempting. Now Sal can play the 9 if he can miss the, even if he hits the 8, I think the 8 will open up those 2 balls. Oh boy. All right, now if that's dead, of course, how's he going to get to it? He could, if he could somehow bank the 12 into the 8, he can make the 14. But I don't think he can do that. So you absolutely cannot make the 12 ball here, because you're going to need that to pocket the 14. I would play safe here. He can't bank it at the 8, because I think the 7 may block that path. Plus there's probably a kiss there. And as long as the stripe is next to the 8, Jeff has to open that up. If he's going for his jump cue, I'm only surprised unless he thinks he can jump this and draw the cue ball back into the stripe 8. Because the stripe goes nowhere. The only other possibility, and as I look at these balls on the table, they do appear frozen. He'd have to get so perfect behind the 15 to play a hit and stick behind the 8, and that's a lot to ask with the jump cue. So let's see how he handles this. Yeah, those are the 2 things he's looking at. He's got to make the jump shot and draw the cue ball. And if he just mishits it a bit, he can draw the cue ball right into the hole. Well, it's not impossible. He can kick this in one rail. He'll have to go to the left of the 6 ball with just a touch of right hand in English. And he'll also have to make sure he doesn't follow it in. And assuming he does so and stays right there, where's the 8 going to go? So this may have a little speed to it. No, he's going to miss it. Boy, that was huge for Sal. He did make a nice jump shot. But instead of having a chance to be 4-1 up, you would really expect Jeff to not have any difficulty with these last 4. Needs to move. A little short again. I mean, it should be all right. This is a fairly routine shot. So just a touch of right over and back. This was the game that neither guy wanted to win. It seemed that way, didn't it? All right, second ball break again. Right at the 7 ball. Well, first glance, you like the solids, but the 1 is tough. And if you take the stripes, the 9 is tough. The 7 in the side can open the 1, and you could have the 3 in the other side for insurance. But that would mean he'd have to start with a different solid. And this is the other option, is the 1-9. All the other stripes do have pockets, and I think that's a good choice here by Jeff. maybe just one rail the cue ball across the table for the stripe in the side next. Good shot. Now this is the key to this rack. He really needs to shoot the 13 now. He probably can't get on it better than he is right now. And he might just soft roll it and then play for the 10. Maybe well, he decided to pull out for the 10 or the 11. I would save the 14 as my last ball. I wouldn't shoot the one in the side now. If he could get to the 11, I'd go 11-10. But evidently he likes something different. Oh, don't get jacked up here or you're in trouble. Now he's got to just roll this with enough speed to bounce off the cushion about a foot. And he hit it well, but he's still got a lot of problems now getting on the 8. Look at all those solids in the way, and he can't get to the bottom half of the cue ball. It all depends on how much of the 2 he's going to hit. If he's thinking about hitting the inside of the 2 lightly and getting right on the cushion, the problem there is the 2 might roll forward and block him on the 8. If he hits the 2 fat, the 3 and the 5 and the 7 are in his way. His best choice might be to bank this cross corner and float the cue ball right on the long rail. Well, that was, I hate to say it, folks, but that was hit and hope right there. He didn't really know where things were going. He just was hoping to get lucky. I really think had he maybe took a walk around the table, he might have seen the 10 cross corner. Not that maybe that was as easy to execute, but it might have enabled him to have a shot on the 8. Now I think the best thing he could do would be to slow roll that cue ball, barely graze the 8, and make sure it prevents the 7 from being pocketed. And then what Sal's going to do is play safe back and try to get a ball in hand. Jeff's in a lot of trouble right here. He's going to kick into the short rail, try to carom the 8 off the 7 and have it go cross side. And I don't think that is going to work. I really think he would be best off to play a bunt safe and just take his chances. It doesn't look like that 8 can carom off that ball, go cross side because the 3's in the way. With ball in hand, I don't think he could make that. If I'm going to give him ball in hand here, I would move the 1 ball. So I'd have plenty of room to kick at the 8 once Sal safes me back. But he's now called it, I think, in the left-hand side. And I don't know that that's going to go either. If it does, it'll be a miracle. Look at this. He almost made it. What went wrong for Jeffrey there was when he got jacked up on the one ball with two stripes left, and he couldn't get an angle on the 10 to get to the 8. Shoot the 4, Sal. Attaboy. Ooh. Uh-oh. Okay, he can't see the 7 and he can't see the 5. He shot the right shot. He just didn't think it out. He's going to play the 5. He's going to jump it. Sal's on the hill and breaking for the match. Of course, we all know that Sal's dad's nickname is Machine Gun. And over the years, people have called Sal Son of a Gun. All right, Sal breaking for the match here at 4-2. Got to control the cue ball, Sal. Uh-oh. It was going right in that side. But he hit him so well, he got enough collisions. And the position of the 8 ball kind of tells me solids would be the first choice to clear the 3 and the 4. The only ball would be an issue then would be the 6. If he takes the stripes, he'll need to get to the 3 ball side of those, of the 11 and 12. So I think he's going to go ahead solids. He may even move the 6 here, which would, but he's got to hit it firm. Good. And he got a friendly tap on the 11. Now the 4 goes. I'd go to the 4 next. Yeah, right there, Sal. I would want to save the 1 or the 5 to get on the 8. I wouldn't want to go to the 8 from the 2 ball. I mean, it's okay, but I just think the path 5, 2, 7, 1 looked like the pattern to me, where you could come straight down. But this will work, and I mean, it's not like it's tough to get from the 7 to the 8. But you know, every player sees the layouts differently. And as long as you get the job done, it doesn't matter. Well, now he's got a nice angle to just draw this over by the first diamond near the side. And Mr. Heath is going to go home. And there it is, 5-2. Sal Butera eliminates Jeff Heath. Sal will continue. All right, our next match is at 2:30, players to be determined. So we'll go check on that for you right now and try to get back with that information as quickly as possible.